After reading the patch notes, I thought there was a pretty solid chance that Leo players might be getting a little bit more respect now. I thought that she got some buffs and some nerfs and that she was going to be a bit more of an honest character overall, but no. No, she's absolutely disgusting. She's totally disgusting. Let's get into it. First off, Leo's orbital wall combos are definitely gone, which is a big nerf, but you can now do back forward 1+2, 1+2, quarter circle forward 2, and this will either do 2 points more damage than back 1-4, K&K 3-4, or 5 more points of damage if you get the delay on the Blue Spark version. We also have just a straight up replacement for the orbital combo, in that when we have a wall carry rather than a wall splat, we can get a guaranteed ground spike into a follow up. This time it's with forward 3 down into Bok 2, and it looks like it might give even better Oki, even if it does 3 points less damage. Yes, this is totally guaranteed, yes, it's absolutely disgusting, and yes, it does take a bit of specific timing like the orbital wall combo did before, and I'll make a guide on it soon. You can also get a forward 3 into guaranteed Bok 2 off of counter hit moves like the Sabaki 2+3, sidestep 1+2, the second hit of quarter circle forward 2-1, and now with the new counter hit changes, the first hit of quarter circle forward 2 on counter hit as well. Forward 4-3 is now -14 on block instead of -12. This makes it a lot more punishable, especially in some matchups where you can actually get launched for it. However, the biggest surprise to all of us was that the counter hit properties of the final hit were actually a buff. It's now a full launcher, so the meta on how to block punish this string is still, am I going to use my standing 14 frame punish or am I going to low parry? Really, by far the biggest thing that we thought Leo was going to lose was kind of counter hit low sweeps into orbital loops as well as the orbital wall combo, and both of them have been totally replaced and arguably made even better. It's gross. And I said sweeps plural for a reason, because the exact same counter hit launch has been given to her down back 4, so you can now finish the string for a hell sweep or go all in for the counter hit for a huge combo. We thought our counter hit low sweeps were gone and they just got a huge buff. I don't know what they were thinking. Leo's while standing for 1+2 is now -12 on block. Honestly, they could have made it launch punishable, it should only be used as a punisher. However, it's now uninterruptible, where you could interrupt with jabs or I think maybe magic 4s before. And if they get counter hit by the second hit, and they don't immediately hold back, you can get a guaranteed forward 3 into Bok 2. But if they are holding back, it doesn't work. Another unseeable low sweep that we thought was getting nerfed has also been buffed. Leo's full crouch down forward 3 may only do 20 damage now, but whereas before it would only give a guaranteed follow up at the wall, you can now get a guaranteed follow up in the open 2. Forward 3 is easier, crouch cancel into orbital does 40 damage. Now, as you can tell, I think Leo has been buffed like crazy for Season 2, and I've branded anyone who doesn't think that this is the case as a back 1 spammer in Season 1, because back 1 is no longer a counter hit launcher of any kind. All that back 1 does on counter hit is make back 1-4 natural, which is a welcome change, even for me as a Leo player. I don't want to be all about doing back 1 all day. I don't think I really was all about that in Season 1, and I'm glad it's gone. Now, the only use for back 1 is going to be a range transition into K&K stance, which isn't going to be that good, and down 1 is your long range mid counter hit fish tool. Down 1 didn't get nearly enough love in Season 1, so I'm really happy for this change. You might be looking at this move and thinking, wow, that doesn't look that good anymore, but I've got something to tell you. Leo's down forward 2+3 has gone from being a -15 on block knockdown to a -12 on block low that high crushes, leaves Leo in crouch with +5 on hit, and it launches on counter hit. If you watched my video a few days ago, I was telling Leo players that they should want the old down forward 2+3 back. We've got it back, and you're gonna be happy about it, even if you aren't right now. With you being in crouch at +5, your while standing free becomes totally uninterruptible, and you can't step it in either direction. Now, while standing free 1-2 is a counter hit natural string, and it's also somewhat counter hit confirmable. I think I'm going to be looking into that a bit more because the string's been pretty useless up to this point. The frames on Leo's while standing free 1-2 have also been massively buffed in this season on block. So the final hit is a totally safe high, so the opponent's jab retaliations are risky, but it can obviously be ducked, so you mix it up between the -10 mid, which is the second hit, and the safe high. But I think you can start to see just how easy it's going to be with a safe, uninterruptible, unsteppable mid follow up to your down forward 2+3 on hit to start conditioning your opponent not to move. And at that point, your full crouch mix-up after this is terrifying. Unseeable low knockdown with a 40 damage overall follow-up, check. Mid-launchers, check. The third hit of Leo's 1-2-4 on counter hit now gives this face down, feet away knockdown for what looks like a guaranteed down 4, or you could go for a back roll catch with forward 4-2, which does 20 damage. Here you get a quick look at the range you need to be at for Leo's forward 1+2 to wall bounce. Forward 1+2 has now been buffed from -17 on block to -14. Still not a move I'm going to use a lot because it's kind of slow, but it is a high reward with Punisher when you're near the wall. K&K 1-2 is now safe, so delaying the second hit for a potential counter hit wall splat is slightly more viable. Beware that the first hit is a high and they do have some reason to duck K&K. As expected, the reduced pushback on hit from Bok 1+2 makes it so that forward 1+2 is now guaranteed from all ranges for a 51 damage power crush. And also as expected, the wall bounce doesn't activate from this. Another big buff for Leo is that her down 2 is now +4 on block as opposed to +2, and it still forces crouch. Now this means things such as your down forward 1 is now totally uninterruptible, which just makes it easier to condition them to take the mix up, or if they're not going to learn, you can still get your counter hit setups. It's going to be extremely fun to use this move to read and condition the opponent for either counter hit setups, or mix-ups, or even just whiff setups. And don't forget that if you do get a counter hit, you're still going to get 46 damage from it. Another move that now gives slightly better pressure on block is Leo's Orbital. It doesn't have the cheap ground spike anymore, but it's +0 on block and forces crouch, meaning it's a good setup for sidesteps or, once conditioned, anything really. And to make up for its loss in the ground spike, it's now got a new counter hit animation. Though to be honest, it doesn't really change much, as you could already get a full combo from it against all of the cast, even if you had to adjust it sometimes. But it does look cool. A move that's now going to be even more vital for the mix-ups that we mentioned is going to be Leo's up forward 2-1. As most people know, Leo's down forward 2 doesn't launch crouchers, and her forward 4-3 is now going to be much more risky, and it's a lot slower. Leo's up forward 2-1 has a damage buff. The mini combo now does 40 damage altogether. It's relatively fast, and it has some evasiveness, and it's totally safe on block. But as you can see here, it's always been interruptible by 10 or 11 frame moves. But the cheesy new Bok transition from up forward 2 now totally blows up high attempts. The mere existence of this makes the move better, even if you know. Earlier I mentioned the new counter hit properties on quarter circle forward 2. This is now probably your go-to mix up from quarter circle forward with quarter circle forward 1, the low. Both of them now have counter hit properties. The most common thing you're probably going to go for after quarter circle forward 2 on counter hit is forward 3 Bok 2, as I showed earlier, though it is possible to get a pickup into a full combo with while standing 1. Obviously, you know me, I'm not going to do things like that. Nor am I really going to try to go for the forward 4-3 pickup, because I suck. Finally, here's a quick look at the recovery animation for the opponent when they don't tech and when they do tech the new forward 3 Bok 2 wall combo ender. And there you have it. As you're going to be able to see from these changes, Leo has a better and more diverse neutral game now, more ways to create interesting plus frames on hit, in different situations, and also new, stronger ways to get better frames on block in neutral too. She also has more counter hit setups, more counter hit combos. And while we knew we were getting some of that, we thought we were going to have to risk some of the dirt at the wall and things like that for it, and we really didn't have to. And don't worry about these new wall enders, with a little bit of practice you'll start to get them consistent, and maybe I'll make a guide on them soon. I hope you all really enjoyed this breakdown of Leo's changes for Season 2. She's absolutely broken, and the only reason that she might not be the best character in the game is because they've made everyone else crazy too. Well, maybe not everyone. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. I love you guys.